All right, let's try this again. Mic check, mic check. Okay, there you go. The man of the hour. Fresh out the shop. Don't tell them that, Chief, because then now they want to dry you off. Don't tell them that, because now they want to dry you off and lotion you up. So you gotta bring it on down. Goddamn. But whatever up, man, how y'all feeling on this Saturday? You know, it's crazy. They make a week today from the event, and I'm probably just still in the 70s as far as recovery. Yeah, I'm still in the 70s. I haven't came all the way back down to earth. I told y'all I was in Milwaukee. But after this, I was able to go back and visit and see family and friends. Go see my other kids on another planet. I was all in Neptune hanging out with my uncle and shit. It's crazy. I went to the script club in Jupiter. Everything, AI intelligence. I mean, if you think Hong Kong, Tokyo, Dubai got some structures. I was out there hanging out. Met a little chick from Atlantis. She had locks. She was nice. She was cool. But, and I ain't gonna lie, I took her back home, back to the room with me. But I ain't had no rubbers. And she trying to convince me that she this master for herbalists. And that disease and shit don't exist on that word. That's just from us down here. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, that shit sound good. You know, like, excuse me, y'all. I'm getting my flowers together. But I'm like, I bet I heard that before. You trying to get me pregnant. You trying to trap a nigga and get you pregnant. I don't, latex, yeah, you know how they be coming up with all kinds of shit. I don't know, that latex is, and all this type of shit. So she wanted me to fuck raw, so that ain't happening. All them drinks at the bar, that shit. Bitch, I was drinking water. You just don't know. I slipped the bartender $100 and told that nigga give me ginger ale. Bitch thought I was drunk. You gonna steal my wallet. Bitch, I don't trust you. She like, yeah, you been out there fucking with them hoes from Earth for too long. Them bitches don't know how to treat you. I'm like, all y'all say the same thing. All y'all say the same shit. I'm like, look, little mama, I heard this shit before. You ain't finna do nothing but break a nigga heart. Man, I ain't fucking with y'all niggas today, bro. I'm getting into the biz. I'm about to get into the biz, bro. I ain't fucking with you niggas today on this bullshit. We need to hurry up and get into the biz. Boy, you get for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, and this the top cat that show up. We need a commercial break.
Street need bosses. Boss them up, turn your click up, dog. Turn them up, turn your bitch up, dog. Turn them up, turn these streets can't cross it. Cross them up, all these streets need bosses. When my dog get low in his pockets, I'm picking them up. We came from the bottom together, my nigga, we get it, we splitting it up. If my bitch tell me pay for that pussy, I take her ass shopping and tell her shut up. Standing on business, ain't nothing to part that shit up. It ain't nothing to turn a bitch up. It ain't nothing that turn your click up. Ain't nothing. Shit, we turn the jeweler up. Just look at the diamonds we bust. Look at the people we touch. Shit, I'm feeling like Puffy and Russ. I'm sending this shit like a total nigga so nasty I never been flushed. Bulletproof rappers, it came with a kid on it. The shit too light, it kick it, we spin on it. Hundreds of bands, I put a little shit on it. Dope in my hand, I had to go flips on it. He want the scoop, she want the tea. She want the tea. I cannot speak, we keeping it street. We keeping it street. I took a loss, but you still gon' get beat. You still gon' get beat. How much it costs? It never been cheap. It never been. Turn your click up, dog. Turn your bitch up, dog. Turn these streets can't cross it. Cross them all these street need bosses. Turn your click up, dog. Turn your bitch up, dog. Turn these streets can't cross it. Cross them all these street need bosses. Boss them all.
Big dog, status Bill Hubble. A ball in his mouth for my brothers. Oh, your bag, told the color. I got it out the field, fuck us. Going as Lori about the paddock and going as Jordan as dead. For lead water trying to stop a bitch. It's a habit tricking on a bitch. Shit, I'm thinking I'm cooking a pimp. Shit, I'm cooking up dope like a duck. Shit, that curve was gon' sit nigga trim. Shit, I'm floating, I'm out in the blimp. Shit, it look like I'm swimming in glass. Shit, I turn on my bitch cause she bad. Shit, I'm making her ex nigga mad. Shit, I'm going for that puppy smash. Real nigga alert, I'm carrying a bag. Piping the bitch in the hand like I can. Turn up the shooters with bitches for bad. Stay with some scammers, but no one's a pay. Slapping no rapping, my dogs can fall off. No capping, no down on my brick. Fuck on the bitch and I told her to call off. Action, I'm making them quick. Painkillers, got my Latinas on gold. They ready to hit the stick. Painkillers, got my little bitch on gold. She ready to beat up the dick. Main hitters, call up the gang members. They was already on the lick. Hanging with me goes all these drugs and guns. Think we miss it.
He want the scoop, she want the tea. She want the tea. I cannot speak. We keeping it street. We keeping it street. I took a loss, but you still gon' get beat. You still gon' get beat. How much it costs? It never been cheap. It never been. Turn your click up, dog. Turn them up. Turn your bitch up, dog. Turn them up. Turn these streets can't cross it. Cross them up. All these street need bosses. Cross them up. Turn your click up, dog. Turn them up. Turn your bitch up, dog. Turn them up. Turn these streets can't cross it. Cross them up. All these street need bosses.
Ricky Snicky, all these bitches trying to get hit. Make a whole wet. Looking at diamonds on my neck and on my wrist. It ain't bullshit. Walk through the club with an F and N in this bitch. Treat it like Ray J. She wanna talk to the kid, make one wish. I'ma get fried rice, shrooms and syrup. I'm trying to get high tonight. Serving them pies right. I'ma start dancing as soon as they hit in the light. Jesus, peace, Christ. What your geek like? Do you like Miley Cyrus? Or you like Virgil White? I'm on blues. Talking all blues, beat it up black and blue. My dog got dog food. If we can't win, nigga, we gon' all lose. So the run go best friend. I'ma fuck on y'all too.
He want the scoop, she want the tea. She want the tea. I cannot speak. We keeping it street. We keeping it street. I took a loss, but you still gon' get beat. You still gon' get beat. How much it costs? It never been cheap.
There you go.
Turn your click up, dog.
There you go.
Turn your bitch up, dog.
There you go.
Turn these streets can't cross it. Cross them all these street need bosses. Turn your click up, dog.
There you go.
Turn your bitch up, dog. Turn these streets can't cross it. Cross them up. All these street need bosses.
All these street need bosses. What up, though? How y'all feeling, man? Like I say, finally catch y'all at the beginning. Meet Yolanda Hughes. Look at those beautiful brown faces. She said, Topcatz, watch him out. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I apologize. Like Anita Baker. Yeah, I apologize like Anita. I apologize. Oh, believe me, yes, I do. I apologize. How y'all feeling out there today? How y'all feeling out there today? Well, I'm woe down. Woo. I'm toe down. I had ran across Indian gal, a clip she put up, and I'm coming up the mountain, and I can hear one of them Indians in the background say, man, Chief been down there like an hour and a half. I was like, damn, I was down there an hour, they didn't even feel like it. Salute to, man, the brothers, the men of valor, you know. All y'all get medals, man. You know. And we had the QRF. We kept having to push up. We like, hey, man, Geechee and them just going to be QRF. Okay, we have to chase a nigga down that mountain. They think they getting away. But they really finna run right into the Indians, goddamn. Yeah, we gonna push up. We had a group in the middle and we had a group in the back. And them niggas were running QRL. Fuck it. We going up top, get eyes on the target. But it's all love, man. You know, it's been a weekend, man. Lala say she gotta make the hike. That's all we do in Washington. I went on one yesterday morning. That's what's up. That's what's up. Wait, Washington State? Where you at in Washington State? Or Washington, D.C.? It's Saturday. Yesterday was the 4th. And man, I got a lot of work up ahead of me. No breaks. So right now what I'm doing is working on the course, and I'm just looking at it in an entire different way now. You feel me? And yeah, so due to me and my travels, it's something I don't want to play with or wait on. I want to just knock it out on some Josh Gibson. I want to put that bitch in the parking lot. I don't get it over with. That's easy work. Boom. But I got a lot of tools in my toolbox that I ain't never had to pull out. But I'm gonna do that. Right now I'm chasing greatness. I'm on the journey to recorrect the false history of America. Make it all make sense. And it's really important to me because it's never been done. It's never been taught that way. It's never, and so the real story. And yeah, I'm on that quest. So I've been having Virginia fever. Virginia was never like on my top list, but I've been having Virginia fever, man. I gotta make it down to Virginia. Right now I got a nice one coming up. And then I gotta go to DC before the end of the year. I got Chi-Town, DC, Boston. It'd be good to catch some of that St. Augustine work. I don't know if that'll be next year or this year. I'm running myself raggedy already. I'm trying to get over to London, man, and hopefully Trump and them figure out what they gonna figure out. Cause I ain't trying to get caught in no situation. But I'm gonna come back looking like a motherfucking Greyhound dog if I'm stuck in London, nigga. Lost in London, nigga, like Home Alone, lost in New York, lost in London. That ain't nobody but the devil. I might go Christian. I don't know. I might go to Christian. I might be in the cathedrals. Get me out this motherfucking nigga. No. They'll say, I celebrated the 4th, proud to be recognition of who I am. She say Seattle. My daddy was in the military in Seattle, and that nigga had a baby out there. No, yeah, we still looking for her. I'm just trying to make sure before I get out there and I don't do no fucking and find out we got everything it come and people talking about we favor and like we meant to be together, like we knew each other our whole life, and I done fell in love, and this my motherfucking long lost sister now. So yeah, my dad, my dad, he was in the army out there and stationed in Seattle, Washington. He told me he gonna retire out there, and best slice of pussy he had in his life, and he got a baby girl out there somewhere in the world, and I'm just, waiting around. I'm thinking about taking one of them ancestry tests and try to go find her in the database. Yeah, I'm trying to go just find in the database. I don't want no trouble. I'm just saying, I come from Texas. Texas, Louisiana, East Texas outlet. And we gonna keep it real. You down by the Delta niggas, we gonna keep it real. A lot of y'all don't know y'all genealogy. A lot of y'all are married to your cousin. I'm gonna go, hey, nigga, you got 3 kids and married your cousin. Yeah, nigga, your baby mama is your cousin. You niggas don't the family. That when the families broke up, they migrated to different places. So you don't know who's who. You nigga married, some of you niggas out there married to your cousin and don't even know it. Y'all done did all type of shit to each other. Woo! Heinous. Yeah, y'all did. Yeah, you wake up every morning, kiss her in the mouth, tell her you love her, and you wonder why I feel like you just knew her all your life. You got soul recognition when you seen her. Yeah, nigga, the ancestors were trying to tell you that's your motherfucking kinfolk. You mistook it as love. Yeah, you mistook it. Urban say everybody in Arkansas is the land of kissing cousins. I don't know, Louisiana. Kevin Gates came out and said he was fucking his cousin and found out later. Said they kept fucking. Yeah, after the news broke, they kept fucking. That's some East Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Indian territory. Fuck it. All you niggas trying to make this country shit cool. We got all them niggas in LA, California. They running their ass up out of there. Prices high, gas $10 a gallon. Gavin Newsom got out there and the crew, they got packets. Them niggas been in houses on heels and shit. They don't want to play nigga music in the clubs. Talking about gang violence. They running niggas ass up out of there. They on the way back down to Mississippi. Well, let me give you niggas a little lesson. 101 when you get down here, nigga. You might want to do genealogy, especially if you run into somebody with the same last name. That is not love, nigga. Cupid did not shoot you, nigga. That was the ancestors saying, nigga, you better not fuck her. That's your cousin. Warning. They give us all types of warnings and shit. But you got that hooch in you. You full of that bourbon and that whiskey, nigga, and you ready to risk it all. And now you got 3 kids and been married for 6 years to your cousin, nigga. That's how the shit go. It fucked up, but it's life. Look at Twin talking about that. This shit real down here. She get wicked. She get wicked. She get wicked. Shout out to Zeke Production. Nigga, you producing and goddamn, I need a cameraman. I need 2, 3 guys. I had a cameraman. He was there supposed to be mic'd up. Goddamn it, he didn't find me the end. I need 3, 4 cameraman. He said we need to get out there. I was hiking in some mountain off Interstate 5. I seen railroad tracks that was super old. Where you at? What's that in the background? Where you at? Like the Hoover Dam or something? Where you at? Yeah, man. So, boom. This what we're gonna do. We're gonna bounce off and get into the bill. Y'all got the likes up. Hey, this is what I wanted to do too. So check it. Friday. No, not Friday. Don't lie. Stop it. Thursday. I sent out 23 orders. Now, I think it's about 18 shirts that's left that we have. Sort through the sizes and all of that. So 18 people will be receiving their shirts. For the people Cause this y'all gotta understand, it was people ordering the shirts 2-3 days, and I'm talking about they ordered like 2 or 3 shirts 2-3 days before the event, and after the event, people are still ordering those shirts that's in the big Indian business. So usually we'll do this for BCU to come out, and we can always recognize each other, but it's so many people walked up to us and broke down their indigenous heritage, and almost everybody like, hey man, I like them shirts. Hey man, how can I get one of them shirts? And so it has become bigger than just BCU, and that's a good thing, man. So people ordered after. Yeah, the slides coming in. You know what, DJ? I'm going there because I got some little bitty motherfuckers, and I think they can fit you. So the new slides that's coming in, we got big Indian business slides, and we got I'm not black, I'm Indian slides. We got the socks to match, and now they come with dust bags, just like the Louis and the they come with dust bags, and they come with the BCU shoebox. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy about that. Yeah, it costed more money, but goddamn, niggas gonna have to step it up. You feel me? I'm getting this shit for y'all to put on. Speaking of put on, let me take this down and we gonna get into the bill. I got a deal, right? So y'all see that outfit that I have on right there. Boom, pop out, Chief. Where you at? All right, right here we got a sale. You can get the big Indian business and the I'm not black Indian for $100. Now the price regular is $75 for one, but we got a deal. You can get them $55 if you buy both sets. $55 if you buy both sets, and we're gonna do that until they gone. We maybe have about all together maybe 30, maybe 30, 35, maybe 30, 35 together. So if y'all want to jump on that deal, yeah, nigga, $100 and you get both sets. Now they $75 by themselves, but we got a deal right now. So y'all go over there and buy that bitch out. Nah, y'all better go get them. Them hoes gonna be gone, I swear to God. And I'm gonna tell you right now, not them Indians for the most part. It's a lot of new people coming, seeing what we doing. They like our get down, and them motherfuckers, they supporting. So just like they want them shirts, they want them outfits. So you got them BCU nigga, you sit on your hands, that shit gonna be gone to somebody else, all right? But yeah, so yeah, y'all better get them, and sizes. Yeah, I don't know what sizes, but y'all get them. But if y'all getting it in sets, it's probably like 15, maybe even 10. Because we sold them separately, it'd be different. But I want to get all that shit out of there, bro. I need to come do a deal on all them slides and shit that we had. Like, I need to get a lot of shit out. Frames, 2,400 on the BCU Jaguar frames. Yeah, the Jaguar frames, if y'all want them, 2,400. Like, a lot of shit I need to get gone because I got too much and I need to clear space because I don't want that shit in my office. It's in the space by itself, but I'm about to hook it up like a real store with the neon, with the lights and all of that shit there, everything, you know what I'm saying? Mannequins. But we're trying to get out what we got right now, and we're coming back harder. All right, with that being said, let's get to the bill. what size was the set you had on? It go from small to 2X. I don't think it's any more 3X's. It may be, but I'm not sure. But it won't be a set. I don't think it's a set of 3X's. All right, let's work.
I do know. You know, he taught us a crock of shit. Okay, Carrie Mo, Dr. Eileen Bay. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chief Warhorse. It was the shout out to Phoenix Moon.
Chief Warhorse.
Hey, y'all make sure the lights up. Make sure the lights up.
Everybody been pushing the line, but yeah, we finna drop some jewels today, and we want to chat the ask the thought provoking questions too as well, because we're gonna shake you up, but you know the era we come from. We gotta quote your sources. We got good scholar. We're gonna quote our sources.
Hold on, y'all. Let me see something.
So you can further your own research. But this story that we're telling you is not scripted. It's a story that we're trying to get you to tap into is with your bloodline.
What's up, OG?
It's called Genealogy.
I got you in the mix, OG. I'll take care of you.
Yeah, so but when you tap into genealogy, you see how your family is connected.
I'm born here. I think somebody
play called America. You know what I'm saying? And that'll blow your mind. I'm just segueing in for my brother Topcatz, VCU. Like, when I say he got some information to drop on you, it's going to shake you up,
Indeed. And we also have some visuals for the family. The good brother Talik sent me a cache of images, and I put together a nice little PowerPoint presentation. So we're going to go through images because I know our people are visually, we learn from visual. We're visual learners. So we do have something put together. Some of these images may be the first time that some of you have seen it. And it may be the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth time that you've seen it. Regardless of the fact, these are images that we are going to have to continuously show ourselves and show our children. I'm homeschooling my children right now, my 4-year-old, for all of my homeschoolers out there and for all of my tutors out there, it's very important.
Hey, get the lights up.
The babies don't have to unlearn the information. It's important to give it to them right now, 0 to 7, while they're soaking up all of this righteous information. I'm talking about give them right knowledge from the gate so they don't have to get tricked and whatnot and then untricked. They don't have to go through cognitive dissonance. They don't have to go through this confusion that many of us have gone through. So the babies are the ones who are going to benefit the most off of the research that the parents are doing right now. You dig what I'm saying? Because when they get this information, they're going to grab this shit by the horns and they're not letting up. Okay, because they're going to have the resources. They're going to have the wherewithal. They're going to know what to do because the quote unquote steps that we've taken, they're going to be able to study that and trace it. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to open up the line for my special guest for this evening. The legendary, the good brother, the legendary Topcatz is in the building. So let me go ahead and open up the line. All right.
Y'all share on y'all.
There we go. Peace to the family.
Peace. What's up with it?
All right. Peace to the God. What's good with you, brother?
Oh, man, slow motion. Appreciate you having me on. Shout out to the homie Soul Food Vegan.
Yes.
Peace to the chat in a real way.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's been a long time coming, my brother.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me give you your 21 gun salutes, man.
Yeah.
Hold on.
To this day. Day.
First and foremost, I want to say I've been giving brothers, their flowers.
Hey, brother, Run say any books on the Gullah? Yeah, I'm not black, I'm Indian. There's a chapter in there on it. If you don't have this book, you don't need to be looking for no other books. If you're looking for American history, this is called the Indian Bible. The Indian Bible. I'm not black, I'm Indian. Everything you need is in there. But if you want a full breakdown, look up Legendarytopcatz Seminole Wars. Don't look up the Gullah. Look up Seminole Wars. It's on the same topic. It's on Black Magic 363, Brother Rich channel. Legendarytopcatz, the Seminole Wars. And then come back and tell me what you think about it. I give you $100 if you ever heard anything close to it on that topic
and whatnot. I want to say salute to you, my good brother Topcatz, for the work that you've been doing out here. You know what I mean? Standing on the front lines,
that right,
going against the grain and standing on the business of resurrecting the quote unquote dry bones of our ancestors and challenging the narrative, right, that they've been putting out here to put our people completely to sleep. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to say salute to you for doing that.
I appreciate you in a real way. Been following your work, you and your brother, besides the KT too. I got a picture of it, matter of fact, at Soul Food Vegan.
Yeah. Oh, with KT the arch degree?
Yeah.
Dope.
I was putting him on cowboy beans. He was like, man, what's cowboy beans? Yeah.
Nah, salute to him. There's a show on with him and Rich right now.
Shrug.
So I gotta go check that when it's over and everything. Real briefly, let the family know, let my audience know exactly who the legendary Big Chief Topcatz is, what you've been doing, where what region you coming out of and whatnot, and just keep them up. Let them know who you are.
Man, you can choose, lose, you can stay confused, man.
I saw it.
I'm a Texas Indian, East Texas to be exact. I'm a core-sided Indian on my dad side and Cherokee lineage on my mom's side. I come from a family of chiefs from the Cosaty, the Mingos, and we still have our land down there. My family, we fought in the Revolutionary War as far as Texas Revolution. And so that's when a lot of my lines started to come together. There, one leaving out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama in 1836, coming to Texas. And we had 3 plantations in Texas since 1836. So we got historical markers on them as far as our cemetery. And me, I'm a American Indian history, world history, but my main focus is right here on the America.
Yes.
Covering the stories, that was left out, what they call the mystery, our mystery, you feel me? But we putting it back together now, in the
Indeed. One of the things about the tribes, and we know that there were many, right? Because you speak about Texas, we know that there were tribes all over the Americas, not just in North America, but also in Central and South. What would you say is the difference between the tribes that come out of the Deep South versus some of the tribes that you would find in places like Ohio,
the Appalachian and New Jersey
tribes, the Connecticut tribes, some of the tribes that were defeated during the King Philip's War and things of that nature.
Right now, I'm gonna do it right now.
Well, the difference would be really the culture.
Easy work.
Down south, we had more land to work with, so we were more agriculturalists. And a lot of our empires kind of surfaced around the Gulf or the Caribbean area. If we're gonna deal with Florida, to be specific, we're dealing with Florida, their coastline going into the Carolinas, where they dealt in South America. Also, what we call the Yucatan Peninsula
as well.
In the Gulf Coast areas right there, Galveston Island, Port of Louisiana, dealing with those ports. But also they had connections with those Indians that came up to Mississippi.
Yes.
Because it's going to stretch, the empire going to stretch from Haiti, New Orleans, up to Mississippi, into Canada, and all the way down to Quebec, which was France.
Man, Lightfoot, what up?
1763 Treaty of Paris when the French lost the French and Indian War in British Quebec, but before that, it was a part of the French Empire.
Right.
Yeah, and they allied with the Choctaw down there. But for that, it'll be mainly like the coaches. We were renters, you know, cowboys or whatever want to call it. You feel me? And
right, horsemen.
Yeah.
Right.
And so up, you know, for the tribes, you know, they were a little more into they had commercial enterprise as well as empires, and they were more dealing with a governmental body for as, how can I put it, what we call England.
Right.
Yeah, Europe. So they had a lot of commerce and bloodline, you know, back and forth from there.
Okay.
But we'll find that out through the story of America, the U.S., as we see them come from upstate, other portion come down to South.
Right.
Region. Yeah.
When you brought up Mississippi, are you speaking of Natchez by any chance?
Yeah, Natchez played a part. Natchez was the most wealthiest place during the Civil War. So that time, that era, Natchez, Mississippi, so my family, they from the town right outside of Natchez, Roxy, and yeah, the Natchez Indians, of course, which had one of the most bloodiest wars here against, you know, those French invaders. And then we know about the Devil's Punch Bowl, what happened after the Civil War, right, when they massacred them. But yeah, Mississippi, they had a company, a guy named John Law in the 1700s, created a company called Mississippi. You see a lot of companies will become states later as the U.S. expand. And that, you know, Ohio company. We got Massachusetts. You said Massachusetts. They got Massachusetts Company, Virginia. So,
East Indian Company.
Correct. So a lot of that will play into because a lot of these names will not. So they, for instance, if they say a European name, for instance, let's just say London.
You know, I love you.
Well, they might say London on the paper, but and when we read it, we might look at it as New York. You know what I'm saying? We're calling it New York, but if they call it London, then that's going over our head. You know what I mean? Because we're not understanding what they were before they became in statehood. And I think that's a big part of the story that's missing. You know, they kind of talking over our head.
Right. Right. What a lot of people don't realize, and you know, it's kind of common sense, but you know, it's one of those things. If they didn't teach me this in school, then it's not real because my Jewish teacher never said it. So how could it be facts?
Right.
You brought up, you know, the fact that certain places that we were taught in history, you know, like let's say Morocco, for example, you know, but they'll talk about Morocco in history, but when we look at Morocco of today, it was founded in the 50s.
Yeah.
So we're not putting into context that they might have been talking about a different Morocco. You're putting a modern day context into a historical narrative, and that's necessary. That's not necessarily
their fault. It's really, you know what I mean? I understand it, or the readers understand it, you know what I mean? Because they may have the right answer on the paper, but if you don't have the eyes to see, then it might go over your head. Correct.
Right. So what I've done is I compiled some images. All right. I have a slideshow that I put together with some powerful images. I want to walk us all through these images and then get to, you know, break down some of this information through the lens of the images and whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up this PowerPoint. Can you see it right now?
Yeah.
All right. Cool beans.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. So I named it the Black Colonizers, right? Because a lot of people are unfamiliar with the history of, you know, once again, we have reconstructed and revised history, and we have no idea that some of the people who came into the Americas from the Iberian Peninsula and from other places, like when they came into St. Augustine in Florida and whatnot, or when they came along the coast of Charlestown in South Carolina, some of these people were heavily melanated. Okay, when you hear about the pirates, Drake and the other pirates and things of that nature, Port Royal in Jamaica and the pirates of the Caribbean, a lot of our people have no idea that these are melanated people based off of what Disney showed them in a movie.
Nah, them boys right there.
Yeah, so we're gonna walk through some things. A lot of people are talking about the connections to melanated people in Mexico, right? Or what they call Mexico today, in the Mayan civilization, right? And they tie in things that our ancestors in Cuba and some of our ancestors in the Americas and whatnot, and they make a connection. Does anybody know any of the connections that we have to the Mayans, right? I see a lot of melanated people running to Tulum, and before that it was Cancun, right? You spoke. Somebody brought up the Yucatan Peninsula, right? Brother Taj Tariq Bey speaks about the Yucatan Peninsula, and he speaks about the origin of the European that we know today, actually originating in the Yucatan and whatnot. When I see a lot of our people going to Mexico, like you know, and saying that they feel like they are home, they don't want to leave, and it's you know, it just was healing for them, you know. And then I see these.
Hold on, stop, y'all. We got 222 people in here. Y'all know that my number. And then we talking about going down there and feeling like we're at home. That's what we do. Why these niggas out there on them shrooms? I ain't letting this go. I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting it go. I don't care how many years they talking about Topcatz. You niggas didn't let me know y'all had the shrooms and the vapes. God damn it. I wanted to catch a feel too. I'm wondering why they rubbing on the bricks of the pyramid. I'm wondering why they out there pouring libations. And I'm looking around and I say something ain't right. I can feel it. Something ain't right. They holding back. So yeah, when we go down there and we out there popped out with the fam. I want to say this, bro, Rich. In 2027, they're going to no, that's my number right there, Ebenezer. That's my number right there. That's me. No, say I was on shrooms on the mountain. You should have asked me. I didn't know. You should have told me. But it's all right now. Though. We see right now, so now we know. You feel me? What I was finna say, damn, you didn't fuck my whole spiel up. I'll come back to it if I think about it. Oh, yeah, boom. So, bro, Rich and them, they going to Kemet with Billy Carson. But that's in 2027. I want to get the family and see if we can go to Chichen Itza since it's closer. And it won't take long. And shit, you know, I've been down there so many times. I think it'll be easy. It'll be easy for us to manage because we can directly call to get the rides down there. We can get a bus. Like, yeah, we got the WhatsApp connections and shit because, you know, that's our playground. We go back home. That's the playground.
Images of the Olmecs and the Mayans. I'm like, well, maybe you just going back home. Can you break down what some of the connections to the ancient Mayan civilization and melanated people?
Oh yeah.
Man, so he got to my screen. Feather.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Indian real.
Yes, indeed.
All right, just let me know when I'm up.
Yes, sir. You up?
All right. So, we come down to the Mayan section. So, we'll come here. So, the Mayans, far as my nation, right, coincided. So, in 1720, you had a map right here. You got the Cherokee, Coxsackie Creek, Ute, and they're allied with the French. These areas right here are going to be ran by mine. Like my nation, they speak the same language as the Issaquah. Right here in the source, it say the 3 of the Muscogee, Choctaw, Chickasaw known writers and Aboriginal inhabitants of American Mobilians. They said that these tribes, Cortez said that these were the tribes of the Aztec, and he was speaking about the tribes in Alabama. Right here, you got the Hichiti, which is a Mayan. They also spoke the Mayan language. But if y'all know about the Seminoles, 1861, those wars there in Florida, a lot of them spoke about it.
Yes.
You got when you look into the Southeast, what they call the 5 civilized tribes is going to come from 1791, George Washington Civilization Plan. Well, the 5 civilized tribes, when you go into their oral stories, they all speak about corn deities. And so when we go into the mines, it's the same conversation. You know, they also have corn deities.
Right. Isn't Osiris a corn deity or Asar?
Right. So Osiris, I might have it in the slide right here. Osiris is a corn deity as well. So he's a green man. He represents what he's a green man. So
right.
All green men is agriculturalists. The agriculture is corn because corn is what able people to stay in one spot for long enough time to build a civilization. So every weeping deity is also associated with it. And also Osiris is what they call a resurrection deity. So all resurrection deities are going to go back to green men, which is called the
agriculturists, right? Because of the harvest.
Yeah, we see it in the Bible as well, as they were weeping for Tammuz. And so even in Egypt, when they say Isis is crying, and they're talking about so all these deities lead back to the corn deities in the Brooklyn Museum.
Hey, hold on, because he just went up for all them people out there. Y'all see them numbers? 500s. That boy in the 500. This ain't no we're gonna do a little bit today and come back tomorrow. No. Bro, 500s? Your average nigga that's doing a PowerPoint, which it ain't many, it's a small portion of people still doing PowerPoints. But when you look at these numbers, this is what he averaged. He averages this. 500, 400. That's unheard of. You doing niggas' career in one lecture. You're wrong for that, brother. But I told y'all I'm half Anunnaki.
Museum, they actually had it. But Florida region was built up by the Mayans. You have Punchano right here. Punchano was a Mayan in Carterville, Georgia.
36 more lights. 36 more lights.
The Etowah Mounds?
Etowah Mounds, correct. And they found a lot of motifs of what the Mayans had down there. Even the blue that the Mayans have something called Mayan blue. And the largest source of that clay to make pigment is found in Southwest Georgia. So the Mayan blue, they mined that right here in Georgia. So this was a colony, one of the colonies for them in Georgia. I ain't have
another thing.
My bad.
When they had the gold rush in the North Georgia mountains in right. Did that involve Mayan gold? Because I do believe they were talking about cities of gold and things of that nature.
Yeah, it was all about the gold. Right after 1791, the Cherokee moved down in the South. Out of all 5 civilized tribes, the Cherokee are not from the South. They from upstate New York. They speak an Iroquois language. So if they came down, they'll be known as the Westos. They'll be Indian Raiders. But they moved after the U.S. Came into. They signed a treaty. They had already had a treaty with the Cherokee called the Treaty of Hopewell, 17 83, 86, and 88. Then they came back with treaty of hosting in 1791 because the Cherokee was still trading with people down in Florida. So that's what they came back. And then they had the Treaty of Tellico. After Tellico, the Cherokee government was established in 1794. Y'all can look this up. Cherokee government, 1794 to 1907. This in Oklahoma came in the statehood. But
so who would be the Hopewell Indians that they speak of?
Hopewell was really a name that derived after the Civil War from a guy who ended up taking over the area. But that'll go back into the ancient mound builder.
The Mississippians?
Yeah, the Mississippians will come after them. And that'll be the descendants of what they call this era of Hopewell. You got the Adena culture. But you're going back into ancient time because we know that the mounds predate the pyramids.
Yes.
Yeah, but the Cherokee, real quick, the Cherokee moved down into that land because it was old ancestral territory, it was Mayan territory. And
it was a kingdom ran down there. Yeah, Landy. What Landy at? Landy. Yeah, what they say, Topcatz be capping. Topcatz be capping. Topcatz still around. A lot of them big dogs. What them big dogs at? I didn't. What Muhammad Ali said, I wrestled the alligator. I trained different for this. I wrestled the bear, body slammed him, suplexed the bear, and made him submit. Yeah. I slapped the Caesar of Rome. I uppercut and knocked out King Kong. I'm the biggest chief sitting on the throne. And America is my motherfucking home. And America is my motherfucking home. What that nigga say? He go. Something for the summer. With a kid at home at 3. I just want you to believe you're living the American dream. And I'll be dancing out in California.
They knew the resources under there because that was the name of the game. You know what the resources are.
Right. Snatch the resources.
You'll be married in the summer.
All right. So I have another image right here that we have Mississippi, okay, of the tribes. As you can see, family, heavily melanated, and this is not just this ain't a typo. You know, they be like, the people, they're dark because there's dust on the picture. No, man, let's not be retarded. This is melanated people, what they would call swarthy back in Europe.
Shit.
Are these depictions of the tribes accurate depictions based off of your research?
That's a fact. Yeah, these would be accurate depictions. Yeah, I go with that one here.
Okay.
When we go over the European, like this was high commodity over there in their museums. You know, they kind of hide it from us over here, but a lot of these are in their museums over there.
Yes, definitely. Heavily, I went to London, and I went in their museum. A lot of stolen artifacts, a lot of truth over there. And it's definitely, to my understanding, that a lot of the natives were shipped to the European Isles as a result of, you know, being prisoners of war, going all the way back to King Philip's War. They had a large exodus of prisoners that they sent over right across, because the way that Connecticut and Boston and everything is lined up with Europe, it's a straight shot across. So they were shipping them both to the islands, to Dominican Republic, to what they call Hispaniola, and they were also shipping our people to Barbados, and they were also shipping them to London and places, Liverpool and things of that nature.
Right. Watch this here, Red. What's what's the name of that area in Massachusetts called? What's one of the nicknames?
Massachusetts is
the Patriots.
Oh, the Patriots, right?
Now, who the Patriots are?
Mm-hmm.
New England
Patriots with the football team and all of them.
So when we looking at it, it's gonna be a bloodline. So when we talking in empires, this is gonna be empires. You know, this is gonna be where the empires and the bloodlines are gonna stretch to.
Right.
The tribes, when we break it down, we never went by tribes. Tribes always been what they call Plains Indian culture, Southwest Indian culture. We went under chieftains or empires, for another word, because we went by coats of arms, houses. That's the value of our surnames, because that's what the record keeping is kept in the surnames, and the surnames go back, you know, and that's where our stories are, and so that's why they work so hard to tell us a part of the surnames. You know, they told us the history. You feel me? We didn't have you know, our last name was given us by someone. These are the reasons why they want to disconnect us from our royalty and our inheritances, because a lot of us, the story is about us. You feel me? And to connect us from where we are in the story is what's to cut us off from the name.
So you're saying that if I have a surname, it's assumed that, you know, I'm a part of a bloodline, that information was passed down to me from mouth to ear that pertains to my bloodline, and it pertains to the history that my family would have that's specific to them. So if you were to go somewhere and you mention your name or your surname, it's assumed, okay, this person has he has the knowledge, he has the data, he has the history, he has the pedigree of his people.
There you go. Well, I don't think they're assuming. Back in the past it went that way. If we remember, you know, our grandparents, you address them by what? By their first and last name, or you address the families by their surnames, and in our communities. And so that's because, you know, in the front they'll put a sign, the Johnsons live here, so on and so forth. So when we go back to plantations, these plantations were they weren't named after businesses or companies, they were named after surnames.
Right.
And so through the story, they tell us that we were given our surnames by slave owners, but when we look into the records, the slave owner is really gonna be your grandfather or head of household, family member. You feel me? And you know, due to how the laws were back then, them not letting American Indians or having the status for them in the jurisdiction of the new U.S. And even before then, in the colonies, when they had the Continental Congress, or what they were doing down in Massachusetts, or their political system in Virginia. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was on point, and I'll give y'all a clue what I'm saying. If you come from these towns or certain places, if you meet someone, they'll ask you your surname, who your people know, and you start with the surname first, and boom, they take off from there. And so so he was right on that, but I just wanted to make another point to strengthen it as well. But first thing they gonna ask you is who your people know. Cause everybody know everybody. That's how y'all niggas sleeping with your cousin now. We ain't gonna talk about that right now. Let work.
Okay. This next clip, this is my good brother Talik Heru right here with him and his beautiful daughters.
Hey, loud. Hey, I sent you a message. Did you get back with me? I say the largest size we have is a 3X, but it's big though. It's really a 4X. So I wanted to see was it cool. I got this shit packed up. I just ain't sealed it, but it can go out with all of the orders that's going tomorrow. I was just waiting on your confirmation. It's a 3X, but it's really a 4X, and in the medium. I got it bagged up, packaged up, and I think 2 pair of socks too.
One of the reasons why I wanted y'all to see this is because of the phenotype. Even when we look at our good brother Topcatz and his phenotype, when you begin to look at the artwork of our ancestors, the hidden artwork, right, the depictions of us before they whitewashed us and things of that nature, you'll begin to realize throughout the years, even with all of the mixing of bloodlines that we've been going through and whatnot, we haven't changed very much. Okay, we are who we was before we got here.
Right
so
on.
Not much has changed phenotypically. Okay, so I want y'all to realize that when you see these images of us, both modern and ancient, these are the same people. Okay, these are the same people.
Yeah, and let me vet you back on that.
Yes,
that's why I always be asking about your last name and stuff, how we might be having some connections, because me and Topcatz family got like our chieftains got got connections in Liberty, Texas. You know what I'm saying? And I found that some of our people was doing a lot of working together, against a lot of different colonizers and stuff like that. Like one of my Smith lines goes to Liberty, Texas, and Mouse Bluff. We the Panther Band of the Attack upon Eshak, which spread all the way out to St. Martinsville, Louisiana, Opelousas. And we've been dated back like over 14,000 years, Southeast Texas, Louisiana. We still had the same green corn ceremony that the Olmecs celebrated. We still had a red okra ceremony that the Olmecs, did the same ceremonies.
yes.
But the word jambalaya is actually a Takapa Ishak word. You know what I'm saying? Something I cook every day. But yeah, man, this the bloodlines is still here. Like, you know what I'm saying? How I cracked a lot of this stuff just doing the genealogy. My old lady. You know what I'm saying? And my immediate homeboys and family. You know what I'm saying? I just found that like my cousin's baby dad is Napoleon's fourth great grandson. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think I sent you a picture of Napoleon too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, the truth is stranger than fiction, especially when it's your story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, get the likes up.
Yeah, Napoleon definitely was a person of color.
Hey, get the likes up. Hey, Morton, it's done. Morton, done.
His brother Joseph, I also got them in my line too. Philadelphia, a lot of their history. They got, I think it's Southside Philadelphia. They got a historical marker of Joseph Bonaparte. That's gonna be Napoleon's brother. And really how the war ended up starting out, because in 1808, Napoleon won the war with the Spanish against Charles, and he ended up putting his brother Joseph on the throne. So that's gonna split, and that's what's gonna cause the build up what came to the Mexican Revolution at the end of in the 1820s. But then that's why in that war, in the Mexican Revolution, it was more people that looked like us died in it.
Right.
They even tell you that on Wikipedia, that most people that died in, because those people, this story is about us.
Right. So here we have different depictions of melanated people in different areas all across the Americas. Okay, so we have on the East Coast, we have tribes on the West Coast, we have the Midwest, we have down south, and if you can see the images, it's pretty much the same type of people. Okay, heavily melanated, copper tone complexion empires of our people. Even in this image right here with the ancient Aztecs, you can see who they are depicting. Right? This does not look like my dude in them from Mexico that we identify with as the modern day Mexican. And if you go to Mexico and sit down with them and have a thoughtful conversation, they would even reveal that to you. They don't hold back on giving you the information. At least for me, when I went down there.
Man, Topcatz got some dope for you on that one, man. Go on, drop it, man.
Okay.
Out there, man.
Do you want to share your screen, Top? Because I ain't
on that laptop, but I went down to Mexico City to the Anthropology Museum. That's where all of the information for what they consider Mesoamerica coming from.
Yes.
And inside there, the depictions of the Aztec all look like this picture that you have up right here. And that's one that's I mean, you can't. It's nothing to talk about. When we go down there to the source, it's so real that they couldn't even hide it. Yeah, so right, they had the codexes up, and all of the people on there look like this picture right here.
Right. Right. Definitely. Let us continue to go through these pictures. I have a lot of them right now. So there's a conversation about Black slave owners or melanated slave owners, or our role in what they call chattel slavery or indentured servitude. Could we go a little bit into that? That's a area that causes a lot of contention and utter confusion amongst the people who, you know, because of the social engineering, they can never perceive a melanated person in the role of a slave master. So can we just give a breakdown as to what we know slavery to be back then versus what the propaganda or what the depictions of Alex Haley and other people's version of slavery is?
Yeah, well, we'll start out here with this book you have up, Black Slave Owners, Free Black Slave Masters, South Carolina. But I think the point was told us on the race bait, you know, white people don't like you because of your skin, or it put the Black people in an inferior position. When we're talking about the 13 colonies were built off of what we call Black European kings. So before we get to the slave owning part, real quick, we have to acknowledge who the king is. Right. Because the purporters are the people who are going to found the colonies. And then we're going to see migrations of Europeans coming to these different colonies, such as Virginia, under the Virginia Company of London, who was owned by King James. King James, who was a melanated man. King James had a son named King Charles I, who also is depicted as a melanated man. He lost the wars, what they call the English Civil Wars. His son, King Charles II, you just brought up Charlestown, South Carolina, is named after him, and also Charlestown in Boston, Massachusetts. You had Charles Street, the Charles River, and they were Catholics. You feel me? They defended the Catholic faith, but the defenders of them were known as the Jacobites. And so these Black men are going to establish what is called the 13 colonies. So the slave owners, no, they still had to pay taxes to the king. So before we even get to the slave owning part, we're going to acknowledge that the kings were people of color. Then when we get to the slave owner part, when we go into the records, they have what's called slave schedules. Since 1790, they've been creating censuses here. And so they have actual slave records where we can go to. I want to share my screen real quick. Let me on this, but
yes, sir.
I want to show you something real quick.
Yeah, we playing ping pong. So anytime you want to throw your screen up, just go ahead. We gonna go back and forth with it.
I bet it. You know, y'all know my rule. You can't do too much talking and ain't got nothing on the screen. Yo, if a nigga doing too much talking, he ain't putting nothing on the screen, get up and walk out. You feel me? Yeah, it's very, very uncomfortable for me to talk and I ain't got nothing on the screen. Mr. always got it on him. Mr. stand over him. Yeah, Mr. run down and stand over him. You feel me? Mr. always got it on him, man. Let work. Hey, get the likes up, family. Share this out to y'all social medias, TikToks, and everybody else who rock how you rock. That work.
We're gonna go band for band.
All right, so we're gonna come to the census. Now we're going to get this is a slave schedule, slaves inhabitants right here.
Right, that's like a report card.
And this is in 1850. So this is a time where they say all of us are supposedly be
right.
So when we go through here, and let me get something to drink. Right here is the number of slaves. If we notice, it has a 1 all the way down. So these people gonna have a number of slaves. The color of the slave master is right here. You see a B, M is for mulatto. That's just mixed person.
Right.
But the slave owners all have bees by their name. Hold up, I'm gonna go up. We're gonna come over to a different one. Now let's come over here. Same thing. When we look at the color of the slave master, you have B's and M's all the way down. Now we're gonna go to Indian territory. This Mississippi, 1850. Now these are places where they're telling us all these white folks got us all enslaved and all of this. But again, when we look on here, all of the slave masters have B's next to their name. Let me come down here where they have the names at right here. This is in Virginia, 1850s. And you have I's and M's right here. Indians
and mix.
Indians and mix, correct. But the Indians are going to be classified as Negroes. So that's another one that I have to show you. But one of the things I want to show is right here we have Fred Gobert. This is 1860. The number of people we have enslaved is 3. Now, what's interesting about this here, this is going to be his family who's actually enslaved. And when we go over here, it's going to have I's, Indians, and M's on it. Fred is a Choctaw Indian. So this is going to come out for their roles. So the point I wanted to show is there's a way to find out. You feel me? Instead of them just giving us a story, and then we haven't even went back and did our research and did our due diligence to check and see.
Right.
As far as we going into any slave records, we're gonna find, we can find out what color the slave master was, and what we're finding out is that we have a misunderstanding on what slavery was, because these are actually our families in a lot of these cases.
So,
hey, before you say that, hey, Ma, hey, man, message me, DM me, hit me on the BCU site or whatever. I want to send baby girl some books. I got 2 children books for her. So make sure you hit me up, Ma, so we can take care of the princess.
What's the story where we hear about indentured servants, right? And it's to my understanding that these indentured servants that we've heard about in the Americas were European men and women and whatnot. And also, when they speak about the Civil War and those slaves who were fighting for their freedom and whatnot, those were depicted as melanated people who were slaves. But due to research that I've been doing, there was a group of Europeans who were called, I forgot the name. I think they were called Banshees. They were the ones who were barefoot and they had like matted hair, and they were the ones running through and basically screaming like banshees. That was their war cry and whatnot. And it was said that these were the indentured servants of Irish descent, right? And some of them were also of Sephardic descent, Jewish descent as well. Do you have any information about that?
Yes, I do.
All right, so in 1603, King James is going to unite the crown. He's going to become the king of England, Scotland, and Ireland. March 14, 1607, they're going to come to Virginia. Establish 1619, they'll establish their colony. From there, they'll start to bring over indentured servants. And the indentured servants will be Scots and Irish. And we know that because we had they did well on record keeping in this. And so they built colonies. So like as you spoke of earlier, Barbados, 1627, they got Carlisle. He ended up getting the charter from Charles I, and they went to Barbados. This is for the British, so they're gonna be in Virginia, Barbados, Penn, and Barnabas. They're gonna get the Spanish. They're gonna defeat the Spanish and get into Jamaica. And now British has a post in Jamaica. You spoke about Port Royal earlier. And so now they have South Carolina, 1670, which they're going to get Port Royal down there. And then they're going to name Charlestown after Charleston. Right. So these indentured servants, Scottish and Irish, was coming there because they were having wars in Europe at this time. As I spoke of earlier, you have what's called the Civil Wars of Europe. It was 3, or what they call the War of 3 Kingdoms.
Yes.
After that, that'll lead to these indentured servants coming. Also, you had the Jews and the Moors are going to be expelled. When they expelled, in order for them, Charleston became a Protestant state.
Right.
So they allowed you in as long as you wasn't Catholic. So a lot of Sephardic Jews who left the Iberian Peninsula found shelter there, and they started coming in 1681, and under the title of Huguenot. You can find them under Huguenot. I just left Charleston 2 weeks ago. I stopped by the Huguenot church that is still active today. A lot of them are going to play a role in the Revolutionary War, but they'll fight on the side of the British.
Right.
You had the upper colonies where the U.S. Started to be formed through them confederates. They'll actually be the ones that's bringing over the indentured servants, but they did have a lot of Irish come there to Virginia and the Massachusetts charter. Yeah. And then indentured servant went on all the way into the Bacon's Rebellion in Virginia. Right.
Okay. The slide that I have up here, these two books are very interesting reads. The Slavs and the Slave Trade and Asian Slaves in Colonial Mexico. Can we speak on that? And I also want to do a little bit of unpacking about the French Huguenots and the Black Jacobites for the family and how they become the Creole and things of that nature, and what role do they play in French and New Orleans, Louisiana, American history?
Okay, bet. Let me all right, we're gonna ping pong. I'm gonna come up.
Okay.
All right, so Asian Slaves in Colonial Mexico is a book by a lady named Tatiana Salih, who come out of University of Miami, I think it was. And it's talking about Asian slaves becoming slaves in Mexico. And so they had a word for it called chinos, or known as Sanglis. These Sangli people are going to be in Philippines. So you had a trade, again, we're speaking about empires. Yucatan had an empire, Polynesian, Philippines, and these different areas. Where the Spanish is going to hijack it. It's called the Manila Galleon. And right here in 1587, you're going to get the landing of the Filipinos and the Spanish. They're going to build a colony called Morro and Morro Bay in California. I'm sorry. So the trade that happened is called the Manila Galleon. So this Manila Galleon, they're going to end up enslaving the indigenous people of the Philippines. So right here, you have the Luzon, who will be this Asian. If you see the baby right here,
right, Asiatic,
Asian mix, correct. So on the right, you'll see the indigenous population. Well, the mix was because there you had the Chinese. The Chinese were trading there before the Spanish got there. So you had what's called a Chinese mestizo, my bad. So when you see this depiction of them who became, they built class systems, and the lighter you were, the more Chinese blood, the Asian blood you actually had, they put the indigenous Filipinos. So that's called Chinese mestizos. Right here, it'll tell us that from the beginning of Spanish occupation, 1740, they started classifying them into different class systems, and we'll see them put them at the bottom. Now, these are what they call Sangli. Today, we'll call them Mexicans. Right. Yeah, they look like Mexicans today. And even the culture right here with their cultural dresses, we still do see them at their celebrations like this. Well, this is actually a China poblano, which has nothing to do with China, but this is a tradition that comes from the slaves brought over from the Philippines. So when we see them today, this lady right here will look like a Mexican or a Hispanic today, should actually be what's called a Chino slave. So these are descendants of them. And right here, that's the source right here. And in Mexico, it's under the law, they became Indians. Becoming indigenous vassals of the Spanish crown, the Chinos, they could no longer be held as slaves, and then in this book talk about the journey that they took from the slave market in Manila to the streets of Mexico City. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And in 1902, 1898, you had what's called the Spanish War. It ended in 1902. You had Howard Taft, 27th president. He was over there. He ended up, after the war, they started actually bringing over Filipinos here. And in 1922, that was the first time they offered people that would come to be known as Native Americans, they offered them citizenship into the U.S. 1922 was the first time. But these Filipinos who was brought over in 1902, they would also fall under that category with the Pacific Islanders and so on and so forth. Later in the 60s when they get to turn Native American.
Okay, interesting. Let's go back to some of these images real quick. I'm gonna run through some of these images and we'll talk about that. Talik, and I'm gonna get to you with this Huguenot talk because you were one of my teachers about the whole Huguenot thing and the Cajuns, and you know it blew my mind. So I want to build with you on that. These are some images, family. Once again, of the Aztecs, the Incas, and whatnot, the Mayans, just to give you some correlation to what it is that we're talking about. Of course, you can see the phenotypes of our people with some of the Olmec artifacts and whatnot. Yeah, heavily melanated.
Hold on, right here, Red. I don't mean to break your will.
Okay.
Go back to that picture you just on.
Yes.
The one after this one.
This one?
Now go back right here. So yes. The one on the left, this the picture that I was saying I seen in the Anthropology Museum in Mexico City. This it right here.
Okay, with the leopard.
Yeah, with the leopard, and it ain't no denying it. Yeah, that's a primary.
Yeah. My boy is dripping. And as you can see, here are some images of our family, different phenotypes, of course.
Hey, get the lights up.
But as you can see, when they have these images corresponding to their tribes and whatnot, you can see the phenotypical similarities of people of today. Okay. So can we speak to how did the whitewashed image of the quote-unquote Mexican-looking Indian come about? And how did they manage to completely remove our images from, you know, when it comes to when you hear the word Iroquois or Chickasaw, you don't think about us. You don't even have an image of us in our head. You're thinking about the Tonto Indian, or what they would call the quote-unquote, the low plain Indian.
Hot South.
Right. All right, we're gonna ping pong real quick.
Okay.
I told you I like the one point go. Hey,
all right, so we're gonna come over here. So, like I said before, 1920.
Hold on. Let me do this here. For those that just came in, come over to the site, BigChiefUniversity.com. We got 2 BCU frames. We got the black, the brown, the blue, the clear. There are now 2 for 110. And we also have the outfits. We got the I'm Not Black, I'm Indian, and the Big Indian Business short sets. It'd be easy to say. Also for 110, this sale not gonna be up for long, and we're gonna go to it all run out, and it might be out today because we ain't got that many sizes left. So the regular price is $70 for these, but you can get them for 110. And also, like I said too, if you ain't got your frames, you ain't in the game. You did. All right, back to our regular scheduled program.
And two, before they offered citizenship to them, they were known as Plain Indians. Plain Indians, they lived in Canadian prairies, Native American tribes, First Nation, Band government, and they lived on the interior or the Great Plains. Now, right here, what happened was that the government and military forces of Canada and the United States have made Plains Indians culture, groups, and archetype, in literature, and in art for Native Americans everywhere.
Yes, they have.
So that's what happened this was by design. You know what I mean? This was by design. And so, yeah, from Canada to the United States government, notice it said government, they have made this the poster child, you know, in art and literature, you know what I mean, everywhere for all people that would be classified under the Native American, Indian, First Nation, Aboriginal, or whatever you want to turn you about.
So,
hey, no. If you got a P.O. box, DM me your P.O. box so I can send you a little BCU package out. Yeah, I got a little something for you. Send me, DM me P.O. box, and I got a little gift for you.
It's instead of a whitewash, it's a red wash.
Right, it's propaganda. Yeah.
Okay, so this right here is very interesting, because it's a quagmire. You know what I mean? It's an endless rabbit hole when we talk about the DNA test, the erroneousness behind the DNA test, how they've been kind of like sending our people in circles over these years with the 1, 2, 3 and me and you. In fact, whatever those things are, ancestry.com and whatnot. Could we speak about what is the differences between the genealogy test and the DNA test, and what is it that you've done in your quest to find your history through the genealogy test, and also how to spot the fake, how to spot these different ones that are basically lying and not being upright with their research?
Well, first off, I'll say this here: the difference between genealogy and the DNA test is one is coming from. So the topic at hand is the question is us in search of ourselves, who we are. Will be the whole purpose of us even looking into these things. Who we are, which one gonna answer the question? Well, with the DNA test, we're asking someone who know nothing about us. With the genealogy is more oral history, which comes from the family.
Right.
Your family will tell you who you are. Basically, at the age of around the age of understanding, a lot of us were told, you know what I mean, who we were, whether we took it in or if we just heard it and kept moving through life. And one day, we were on that frequency and it came back to us or something, or brought us this age of awakening that's here today. You know what I mean? A lot of people are hearing these things and remembering those conversations. But
right,
with the genealogy, basically, you have a parent, you have two parents who have parents. So basically, we're gonna go back as far as we can to discover who was, who's the next parent, and in that, while we're looking for that, we'll find ourselves. But through the DNA test, even with the Rick Kittle situation, this is something called science they brought. So in '87, they came with the Eve mitochondrial DNA, the Eve gene. And out of Africa theory sprung out of that. Well, then they came back in 1990 with something called the Human Genome Project. And 1991 in New York, they were building the government building, the story go, and underneath it, they ran into a burial ground where they had the ground tested, and it ended up being American Indian and European bones found there. Well, they had a new program at Howard University going on, so they paid $24 million. It was a $24 million program for Howard University to investigate it. Now they said because they directly targeted our people with this test, because they said that it was activists there, black activists, saying that it needed to be black people studying these bones that were found there. So they went to Howard University, $24 million project, and one of the genetics on the team was Rick Kittles. Another guy was Michael Blakey, who ended up writing about it and talking about it. And he's gonna let you know that Rick Kittles actually ended up joining the program with the government to actually start it. So it wasn't black owned. It was directly and intentionally for us, but they targeted us through their program with Howard University. Y'all can look that up. And out of it came what's called the African it's an African museum down there with the Sankofa on it, and I can't think of the name of it, but they ended up building a museum down there. Museum down there after it. You know,
where was this again? I'm sorry.
It's in New York. It's the Sankofa, the African burial ground. My bad. It's called
right there by downtown.
Right.
But they also have the Native American Museum in that area as well.
Yeah, but they're not gonna give us no history on us. With the African burial ground, they had to step away from calling it a Sankofa because they centerpiece was a Sankofa on there. They said they found coffins facing the east, and that the people had waistbands, and these were signs of African culture. Well, then they went back and found out that the Sankofa wasn't even around at the time of that this burial would have happened, and so. Now the museum has stepped away from calling it a Sankofa.
Right. Interesting.
So it's another way of them directly trying to put an African story on top of the indigenous story. Instead of just, telling the real story. This is us here.
When people hear the word Mississippi, right? Because of because of the lies that we've been told, because of the quote unquote falsehoods that we've been fed and whatnot, it doesn't evoke enough memory in the minds of someone, let's say from up north or across the pond or wherever. They don't understand what that means. So when they hear the term Mississippian culture or the Mississippi mound builders, they can't necessarily draw an image or a picture or a point of reference. Do you have any information about the Mississippians, why Mississippi is so important, and why it always comes up when we're talking about ancient Aboriginal indigenous history?
Mississippi is the big mama of America. Mississippi is big mama. First off, you can go right through the heart of what is U.S. today. You can go all the way up to Canada. It'll drop you off in the Gulf. So you got access for as commercial trade. You got access through a lot of different routes. We know water in these areas you're gonna eat. You're gonna have the necessities of life. And then on top of that, they just so happen to be standing on some of the most fertile soil on this planet, period. They have dirt in the ground where you can't get nowhere else on this planet. And so that's why the wealth gap was so far away from those in the north and those in the south,
right?
Mainly because of what came from the soil there. And through the Mississippi, the way that we see them is the culture. The culture, we still, what they call country culture. Yeah, they country down there. Well, that's Missippian culture.
Alpha.
We country. Beans and rice, and cornbread, what they call soul food. That'd be considered Southeastern Indians. Soul food will fall under what is called Southeastern Indian cuisine. Sports, you know what I mean? They had ancient sports back then. A lot of these type of things, the fishermen, and but the culture really stands today. What we see the South is today for us culturally, that's the culture of the Mississippians. That's the same culture that we still living in. It's fading away now. A lot of things getting watered down. A lot of the elders are moving on, but that era when we were young,
right,
we watched our grandparents, and that was the real way. That was the real way. But that was the Mississippi.
All right, now it's back. That country culture back. They trail ride. There was a trail ride last night. Niggas threw a trail ride in Houston on the 4th of July. In Jesus' name I pray. Kwam Yasharala. I'm talking about, the culture is back now. It is back and full of fit. Country niggas are running the country culture is running the country. And it is inspiring everybody. Listen, fam, I still got to bring y'all the video where they doing karaoke in Jamaica. They finna shut it down. I go over there, shake hands, $60. Hey, homie, you got boots on the ground? He was like, yeah. I walked out. And everybody grabbing their shit to leave. He played to the end of the road by Boys and Men. Everybody finna leave. Then they heard that out on the beat. Hell, I damn by my damn self. Where them fans at? I'm talking about the place went crazy like sinners. They went crazy in there like sinners and got the dancing. Yeah, country culture is indigenous culture. Let's walk.
Mississippi culture. What made the South great? What made them? Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Top.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Hey, Top.
When you see these two images, my good brother, what type of memories did this invoke to you?
Oh man, knowledge itself.
Okay.
Knowledge itself. You know, the what they call the old way, the what they like to say, the good old days.
Good old days, right?
Yeah.
Ancient way. No doubt. All right.
Hey,
once again, family, just showing y'all ancient artwork, depictions of our people that you may have never seen before. Just dispelling a lot of the post-Hollywood, post-Disney, post-fabricated images and motifs of who our people are, based off of the whitewashing, or what somebody called earlier the rice washing of history. Okay. Could we talk about some of the rebellions and some of the quote unquote wars that took place and the battles that took place that ultimately changed the trajectory of these empires in the Americas?
Yeah, we'll get one of the most famous ones. So I know a lot of people familiar with the 1740 Negro Act. Well,
yes.
1740 Negro Act. It came about because in 1739 there was a war. Well, hold on, let me walk it down. So 1601, 1603, you get the Queen Anne War. I'm sorry, 1701, 1703, you get the Queen Anne one.
Queen Anne?
Yeah, Queen Anne, she gonna be so we have King James, he gonna be the grandfather. His grandsons are Charles II, the Black Boy King. If y'all get a chance, look that up. Charles II, the Black Boy King. That's who Charleston, South Carolina, named after. Well, his brother James Duke of York had two daughters. So he had one of his daughters was Anne. So after he was put off the throne, his cousin William of Orange came in, which was a Protestant, following that that Huguenot line on that side from the French. And once they took power, his daughters you had the Queen, that was Anne. So you had the Queen Anne Wars, which they were trying to get Port Royal and trying to block that trade down in Florida. But 1711, 1713, you get the Tuscarora War. That's what's gonna split North Carolina and South Carolina. You're gonna get the Yamasee War after that, 1715, 1717. Now, while they was fighting that war, the Jacobites, defenders of the Stuarts, were also fighting the war at that time too. And a lot of them are coming as indentured servants, the POWs. But in 1739, you got a rebellion called the Stono Rebellion, because you had a group of Indians there called the Stonos. So if we look on the old maps, let me see if I can get a PowerPoint up. But yeah, fast enough.
Okay.
You know what? I might. I might know that.
Hey, get the lights up, man. Get the lights up.
All right, yeah. So you had a people called the Stono Indians.
Yes.
In this, and they operated around the Charleston territory. So you had a group of Barbadians came called the Goose Creek Men. The Goose Creek Men, once they came down, they warring with these particular people. They're gonna unite with the Yamasee and go and start cleaning that area out during the domestic slave trade. But it was a guy, they called him Jeremy, but really was the Stono Indians who rebelled, and that was a bloody fight. That's what led to what became known as the 1740 Negro Act, where they had to put sanctions on the Indians and all people of color in that area who, unless you, yeah. Okay. But that was one of the largest ones. You had the 1590 Wale Revolt down in Florida.
Right.
The Wale Indians, yeah.
And of course, the Seminole Wars 1, 2, and 3.
Well, that'll be the well, you want to build on the Seminole War? I got some pulled up on that.
Okay.
Pulled up on the Seminoles. So yeah, I wouldn't even really call it a war. I call it a. This was when everything changed. The military of the United States is gonna come directly from these people who are called Seminoles. The Civil War was fought over Indian territory. All right, we're gonna ping pong real quick.
Put it on there. Show that work.
Real quick.
I don't think you got the work. Show that work. Doing too much talking for me.
Now the Seminoles, it'll start with what's called U.S. expansion. The U.S. started off 13 colonies.
I want to see
1790. After they get their constitution, they want to move into the south. So they start what's called the civilization plan.
Right.
This is where you get your 5 civilized tribes. So they sent out what's called Indian agents to the Southeast to negotiate with different Indian nations to bring them into this new play that they have going. Well, some chose, some didn't. Consequence, we'll see civil wars break out between the Cherokees and these other fractions down there like the Creeks. So 1811, the Creeks are going to a civil war, and then they have a war better known as the Red Stick Wars. So that'll fall into the Battle of 1812. Now, you have the Battle of Fort Bend, then you have the Battle of Fort Mims, which will win. Then the Creeks will win the Muskogee. Then you'll have Horseshoe Bend in 1815. You'll have the Battle of Fort Jackson. After they lose Fort Jackson, they go to Florida. 1816. Now they're known as the Seminoles. After they allied in Florida, and that's gonna start what would have become known as the Seminole War. I got a few slides I can run through there.
Okay, yeah, pull that up. You said it was, you don't identify it as a war. What would you say it was more of?
Canelo, when Canelo Alvarez fought Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
Yeah, okay. it was yeah, they schooled them. They had already always been the most dangerous. You can see me, I'm up.
Not yet.
Okay.
Say they schooled.
Okay, all right, bet. So
we schooled there.
The Civil War, they'll date the Seminole War from 1816 to 1858. But really the Seminole War didn't stop until after the Civil War. They fought. The Civil War mainly was focused on Indian territory. So the Cherokee, when the U.S. first came about, the Cherokee, the Creek, and the Choctaw signed treaties with them called the Treaty of Hopewell. So they came under the jurisdiction of the U.S.
Right.
Well, they started building the Confederate States, which also was melanated people, right? So they started building the Confederate States, and Albert Pike is going to take them out of the jurisdiction of the U.S. and bring them in the jurisdiction of the Confederate. That's how you're going to get some Indians or mixed race Indians fighting on that side. One of the famous ones would be this guy right here, Stan Wadey. Now, Stan Wadey come from the family of the Ridge fraction, or known as the Treaty Signers. They signed the Treaty of Etowah, and this is the Treaty of it'll come to me, but it got his daddy killed, his brother killed, and his cousin John killed.
Damn.
He was the only one that survived the war. Oh, they was banging like Crips and Bloods back then.
Yeah, they were spinning.
The war in what's called Indian Territory. So this is the last general of the Confederate to surrender.
Right.
Now, Lincoln put out a plan called the United, and this was for the United States Colored Troops. and they end up letting niggas fight letting our people fight in the war, because before then they were considered contraband.
Right.
When Lincoln let them in, they became the United States colored troops. So after this war, after they defeat the last general of the Confederate, now we win the war. So it's the treaty called the Treaty of 1866, which is real important because right now they're going back and forth. Oklahoma is going back and forth to Washington, trying to get it overturned because in 1941, somebody signed a paper and said you kicked the Negroes out of the tribe. But what happened was the Native Americans wasn't present there. And in the treaty, it says that no man can ever come back and make a law to overchange this. So it was a lot of things that we were supposed to get out of that. Now, after the war, during the war, the United States was banging against what's called the Plain Indians, where they came and got these guys right here called the Seminole Indians, these people they just went to war with. Right. 8 generals fought against the Seminole Indians, all of them were defeated. Now they came and ended up getting what's called the Seminole Scouts, who came to Texas, guarded the borders of Nacimiento, Texas, and you had them in Brackettville, Texas, and you had a guy named John Hoyce. We know John Hoyce. He ended up going to a place called Coahuila, Texas.
Right.
Now, this is Coahuila back in 1900. Red.
Damn, they chilling. What they on?
This Mexico in I think it's 1901. This picture.
Melanated like that.
This Mexico. This was the Seminole were down there. So this is the predecessors to the Buffalo Soldiers. So this is John Hoyce's grandson, John Jefferson. He is a Buffalo Soldier. So before the Buffalo Soldiers, the predecessors to them were the Seminole Indians. The United States came and got the Seminole Indians to fight against these people who are now the Plain Indians, because they wanted to expand the U.S. into Western territories such as, Arizona, Colorado, Oregon, California. And so they couldn't whoop them. So they came to get us to whoop them.
Right.
Yeah, and we ended up fighting them for 25 years. This was the greatness of us. We fought them for 25 years. And this is the real beef with Native Americans and us, because during this 25-year war, this is how they ended up on reservations.
Yeah. Henceforth, the Mexican beef with our people all across the West.
There you go.
Based off of what they said is the betrayal.
Right. So it wasn't even a betrayal because they were on the other side. They felt as though we sided with the U.S. and we just fought the U.S.
That's what I'm saying. They felt betrayed.
Right. It should be an enemy to them too, because down in the Southwest regions, or what they call the West, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, these areas, it was trading with these people. You know what I mean? So some people were coming, but when you got Indians coming out of Missouri, Florida, Alabama, they don't know them. You feel me? And so we were the best of the best, and the U.S. came and got us, and we fought them for 25 years. And you see, like here, the Treaty of Fort Laramie. These people right here were taken in the Battle Valley. They were starving to death. We had to feed them up there. But this is how they ended up in boarding schools. And for this, the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, they put up a 2,000-pound bronze statue to honor soldiers who taught horsemanship to white cadets for 114 years. So the military that they got from the Southeastern Indians, that the fighting style is the U.S. military. You feel me? Yeah,
right. It's what birth.
They said they felt like Panthers, right?
Yeah, the military genius that comes from the Southeast Indians is the military genius of the United States, and they used the Buffalo Soldiers to go to Cuba, Philippines, the Spanish, and they in Ukraine today, they in Afghanistan today. The same genius they used, they went and took over the world with.
Damn.
Hey, but those Chino Indians did fight against a lot of the Indians in the early, I found out in the early 1700s with the Spanish. I've seen some records.
Well, we fought them in 1898. The Buffalo Soldiers went to the Philippines. Now they had Muslims there called Moros in the Philippines. So some of the Buffalo Soldiers left. One popular for leaving and going to fight on side of the Philippines because these were the melanated Philippines, of course. But the one, his name is David Fagan. He went and fought on that side, and lived in the mountains. Was a polygamist, little bit old man there. They treated him like a king. The U.S. put bounties on his head, but we fought him again in 98 to 1902.
I'm gonna pull this picture up right here that says the 3 most dangerous men, and we're talking about Plecker. We're talking about Melville, Hershkovitz, and Alice Hidreka. Hidreka. All right. Can we build on how these are the 3 most dangerous men and what do they mean to the to our history?
Yeah, when there were a lot of these fields were created to give the authority, you know what I mean, to take the authority out of our hands. So, and they'll be backed by institutions such as Smithsonian, Royal Society, Royal Geographic Society, these different. But as we see with Elise here and him being the authority of making, help making the Mongoloid or the Plain Indian
the face
correct,
right?
And
rice washing us.
With Plecker, a lot of people familiar with him being, also a eugenicist, and
Plecker's the one that changed the status.
Yeah, with the vital certificate, he went back and targeted families and changed their statuses. Because then that's the same year that the Race Integrity Act came, which he was a part of some people who also was working with Marcus Garvey at that time. A guy by the name of he wrote a book called White America, and he spoke about repatriating Africa and that white people couldn't live in the same country as Negroes, and he looking to build a messiah to take the people back to the promised land. And Garvey was his guy, and that's his name will come to me. But Melville Herkovitz created African studies. They don't have eugenicists up there for him, but he came in 1923. He was funded by a sister branch of the eugenics. At that time, they weren't really focused on things he was interested in. He was more so following like Samuel Morton, who came out with the skulls and the scientific racism for that. Well, he was in the measure of Negro skulls and all of these type of things. So his big homie was a guy named Franz Boas. So finally, they're gonna, get a little funding, and he was going around the different schools to prove that he's the first person that's gonna say Negroes have a culture. They're not savages. They have a culture, and that culture is in Africa. It wasn't a melanated man. It was never a black scholar ever came and brought that to us. Melville Herkovitz is the first person that came and told black people in America that they had a culture and that their culture was in Africa. And so through the years, he started to prove this. One of the ways he was in Harlem, he was brought there by a lady named Zora Neale Hurston. Zora Neale Hurston also worked on the Franz Boas as well. Well, they got there and they were measuring skulls. They wanted to see if one parent was light skinned, one parent was dark skinned, and he actually, they wanted to see what percentage of Indian that they had. Well, in my book, I'm Not Black, I'm Indian, the Miseducation of Black American. I speak about how he did his test, which said, I think it was over like 60% said that they were African in his test. Well, they told him that he needed to go down to the South. Franz Boas told him he needed to go down to the South and do testing. So they went to Tougaloo University down there, and they did that test, and it came out about, I think 80% of the people said that they had Indian heritage, and then they proved it through family Bibles and oral traditions, oral stories. And so this is something real and he wrote a book called The Heart of Blackness. I think it was The Heart of Blackness or something like that. But he started what's called African Studies here. And we familiar with a guy by the name of John Henry Clark. Well, John Henry Clark is going to work under Melville Herkovitz. He's going to start a sister company called the African Heritage Heritage Studies.
Yikes.
Leonard Jeffries and another guy, 1969. And in the New York Times, he said he's not going to follow Pan-Africans before him like Garvey and others who want to take the people physically from the U.S. to Africa when they had so much invested here. So his job now is to take the person to Africa in spirit. So he wanted to keep you here in America and mentally take you to Africa or be African. 1969, New York Times, John Henry Clark. But he worked directly under Melville Herkovitz because at that time all the information was coming out through the African Studies, which anything he had to stamp everything that came out. Well, they came in California during the student movements. They bust in and said a quote unquote black caucus said they wanted to tell their own story. Well, John Henry Clark was one of those black members out of the caucus that actually sat on the board with them. Yeah, and so that's how he became more, a powerful tool because he was working side by side with powerful men. But John Henry Clark himself said that his parents, had American Indian heritage. Runoko Rashidi said he grew up thinking he was Cherokee because his parents told him that when he got older, he found out he was African. John Henry Clark co-founder was Dr. What's his name? I got his face in my head. I'll come back to him, but Dr. Kaba, he said that on his mother and his father's side, I think his dad's side has 3. Dad was out of Alabama Indians. Leonard Jeffries, I'm sorry, that's his name. He helped found that with John Henry Clark. But Leonard Jeffries spoke about having Powhatan ancestry and that his grandfather didn't want a Christian burial, he wanted an Indian burial. Professor James Smiles spoke about sweeping the mounds, the graveyards, his family on their lands in South Carolina, and his family of Takora Indians. So a lot of these greats that
Dr. Benners and Moore
brought us, African history or untold African history. Actually, we could have been, learning a lot about, we would have been a lot further, you know what I'm saying, with an understanding of the America because they were brilliant minds. And if we could have, got the best out of them, you know what I mean, of the Americas at that time, but,
right.
Things happen for a reason,
Right, for sure.
What you think about that though, Red? That that they can, is it just the times that it was in, people, I don't know, is it just an awakening? Is it, because I remember back in the past, you and Blue was real big on 2020 coming. Like for a long time, y'all was waiting on 2020, the 2020 vision. So
yeah, and then 2020 came, and as you could see, that was the Great Awakening. Because people have, when you speak to everybody, especially a large contingency of this new student body that we have, they don't say, in 2017 we was tapped in. They like, during COVID in 2020 I got my awakening. Shit turned on for me.
That's when I started. That's when I started.
When?
That's how I knew I am. 2020, I was in Dubai.
You another one?
Yeah, I come out of the 2020 portal.
Yo, that portal was crazy, bro. I it's hard to find people from before that portal. Like, there's so many new people from that 2020 portal that it's like, a whole new world was opened up. You know what I mean? Look at the CMOS run. You know what I mean?
Man, that's crazy.
Hey, how long you and Blue just was waiting on that 2020, like,
man, was we ever?
Yeah.
Hey, Top, they used to let me come do my Indian spiel too, man. They used to let me build back in the gap. You know what I'm saying? So now I just love it's all coming full circle right now. You know what I'm saying? And so man, the chat loving the scholarship, man.
You read my mind, Talik. I was about to say, because we got a lot of family in the chat right now. We about 400 deep. I want to take some questions from the chat. I don't want to leave them out of this conversation. I want everybody to feel included and whatnot. So for the chat room, we're going to take about 3 to 4 questions. And, this is going to be a part 2. I got to bring Blue Pill on board. This is a preliminary introduction to the platform. This is basically just to let everybody, become familiar with the research and the level of studying and whatnot. But we're definitely going to do a follow-up very, very soon. Let's go into the audience.
Yeah, this what we call over here a hibachi lecture. Why you say that, T? Cause we cook it up right in front of you. I don't know the questions they finna ask, they ain't, but everything you ask and you talking about America, I got you. Yeah, I'm the new kid on the block. But I'm the biggest motherfucking chief on the land. Let's walk.
And get a few questions so we can get some answers, because I'm sure there's some people out there that are they got some questions that are burning them up that they definitely need some answers for.
Yeah, y'all don't forget to hit the like button either, man. Tap that like button.
Oh, tap the like button. Yeah, share the video, tap the like button, and comment. Please comment. You know what I mean? Let your mind, speak your mind. Do you have any info on the Alabama peoples?
Yeah, my nation actually come from Alabama. We migrated here to Texas. The Alabama Indians, that'll start in 1540 with the Muskogee Confederation coming about when the Spanish came through DeSoto, and a lot of them end up coming together and building something called the Muskogee Confederation. And
right.
If you're familiar with the Battle of Mobile, Tuscaloosa, melanated chief, end up defeating DeSoto, and then the Chickasaw end up finishing them off.
Okay.
Hey, what we learned in class the other day, the Alabama River is a Mayan word, which means the river of the Jaguar. The river of the Jaguar. Alabama. Stop playing. Nigga, for them Jaguar get on your ass.
Why do they hate the red man from the land so badly? Who's why? I mean, who's they? But I'm assuming he's speaking about the Europeans. Why do they hate the red man from the land so badly?
We the red man.
Yeah. We the red man. You red. Red.
We the red man.
We the red man.
We turn red under the sun, y'all. We have copper. The copper rises. We have a red tone to our melanin. For anybody that was unfamiliar who the red man was,
all three of us can turn our camera on, and we'll
feel me. All three of us, we the red man. So, to me, I can answer that question. I don't feel that they hate the red man. If you stole somebody's material, resource-rich land, and it was on some paperwork and it was faulty, you wouldn't hate these people. You would be more in fear of them because you're standing on the land that you stole. It's as simple as that. It's more of a fear factor than anything. They can't sleep good at night knowing what's going down and knowing that these lies are being uncovered. We could sleep easy at night knowing that we are getting closer to the truth day by day.
Boy, man, that's right.
Gabby wants to know, can you speak on the Blackfoot of the South? I hear different things about some of the Greek/Cherokee, also called Blackfoot, even some Virginia and North Carolina tribes.
You got that, Todd?
You can turn up on it. I was just gonna say them was the tobacco field. a lot of them worked in the tobacco fields, you know, barefooted, and you know that's where you get the North Carolina Tar Heels from. So yeah, they went in. You got a lot of them in Alabama, and Mississippi area as well too.
Yeah, one of my lines is Pony Blackfoot from North Carolina. I need to send. I send red like a Saponi Blackfoot list. A lot of them got caught in that Tuscarora War and came down to Florida, and from Florida they went to Texas. And a lot of them fought with the Seminoles too, amalgamated with the Seminoles in Jacksonville, Florida. But that's one of my lines too, one of my Simmons lines.
Indeed. Somebody wants to know what made you want to research this.
That
Big Mama, man.
Yeah. My family. You know, on the cool, I got a picture, man.
Turn the camera on, Chief. What you doing?
It was Christmas 2012, and you know, I had came. You know, I'm moving fast in the streets and all that. And my auntie, she brought me in the we was in my grandma's house, and she showed me a picture. And you know, she ran it by me again, you know, and I took that picture, I screenshotted it, and I just always kept it. I put it on all of my books. But it's my grandma in her Indian dress, and you know, she was born on the reservation down in Texas, the oldest reservation. My family actually helped pick the location. They ran the store down there. We still had land down there, so you know, it was just my auntie, you know, put me on that journey. I ain't catch it then, but you know, that's what, you know, started me on my American journey. You know, I was learning everything else at the same time, but in the end, you know, I kind of did it to, you know, kind of make them proud. You feel me? I ain't want them just to get me as what I, you know, what I used to be. You feel me? And I figure if I can crack this right here, if I can show my interest in this, and it just took off, you know, like came out that 2020 quarter, and
dope.
Yeah, I just ain't stopped.
Honor thy mother and thy father, so your days on this earth will be longer, right?
More.
Yeah.
So that right. I feel that's the ultimate honor that you can do, is to complete the story. You know what I mean? Like to correct whatever this falsehood is, because in the falsehood they're gonna have us forget everything about our ancestors. We are being erased from our hold to this land. We are being erased from true history, culture, the ways of our ancestors. All of this stuff is going away as we embrace this lie, this myth.
And a common question that people ask, man, what good is this? Why y'all want to know all? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One thing, it correlates 75% of all the land is through arid property. Is Negro land, you know, and these are indigenous people. A lot of people don't even know their stories. You just got to tap in. You know, if your ancestors want to talk to you, just go, like, you know, Ty was saying, these people was not literate. Actually, was way smarter than us. You know what I'm saying? Way sharper than us. You know what I'm saying? While Pawpaw dropped out in 6th grade, like my Pawpaw, he dropped out because he was a master electrician, a master plumber in 6th grade.
Right.
In schools back then, he started learning in kindergarten how to do plumbing and electrician work. You know what I'm saying? So he started getting, you know, 6th grade, he a grown man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you had to grow up fast back then. Everybody had skills. You know what I mean? Yeah. Another thing too, I wanted to close on that. So my auntie, when she was 17, so we got land in Texas and Louisiana. So her grandma. And so in the South, a lot of us got we'll call it going to the country. A lot of our family not from these big cities. We actually from these country towns.
Backwoods, right.
Right. And so like me, I'm second generation from the country. That's why I still talk. You know, we probably can't understand all my words, but we second generation in the big city. So we have great cemeteries and grave sites. So when my auntie was 17, her grandma made her and her cousin, who was the same age in Louisiana, go out into the cemetery, write down the names, and she told them stories about it. She was 17 years old. So I always play that clip about her telling that story. And she had to do a transfer the land over to the family, to the next generation. We hadn't had one in 100 years. It's called a land succession. Now they made state of Louisiana made her go back 6 generations to prove her ancestry, but it was a tradition being passed down in the family, and since she had the information, we were able to get through it. So when she pulled me to the side, it was no different when her grandma pulled her to the side when she was 17 and said, "Hey man, you need to take this, and I need you to know this." And so that's why I put so much passion in it, and you know that's what my purpose came from.
Beautiful, beautiful. I got one more last questions, 2 more, and then we'll be out of here. This is a good one. What happened to the pockets of Maroons in Alabama after the Civil War?
Well, the people that they call in, so in Alabama, you had the Creeks, or what they end up calling the Creeks. During the Civil War, you're going to see one side, as I was speaking, through Albert Pike, they'll transfer over to the Confederate. So at that time, the Creeks, who was running the Creeks, was the McIntosh family. So you had Chili McIntosh, you had, what was his brother? Chili McIntosh, and I can't think of his brother's name right now. So they going to sign for the Creek side. And you had others. Now, what they did was they end up forging names on there, so you can look it up. They forged a guy named Opethella Hoyer. He was one of the chiefs. So they ended up forging the names to sign them from under the U.S. jurisdiction to the Confederate. So that's what started the Civil War, and that's how Half ended up fighting in Kansas under the 1st and 2nd Infantry of what became the United States Colored Troops in Kansas. And it's known in history as the blood of tears, the blood of tears on ice. The blood of tears on ice, that's what is known in history. And that's what you were saying they fought like panthers, fought like tigers, to lead. That's what you were talking about. But
that's the war.
Yeah, that's what led to the 1866 treaty. So what happened to them? Well, they ended up winning the war. Those people that was coming out of the Alabama area, they end up going into Oklahoma. From Oklahoma, they went into Kansas. In Kansas, you can join the Union Army, which was the United States Colored Troops, and they end up defeating the last Confederate general.
And while you at it, go and let them know that's who populated Greenwood.
Oh yeah. For as Oklahoma, yeah, right.
Alabama Creek, Mississippi Creek and Choctaw Indians.
Yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma. His name is a Creek word. It's called Old Town in the Creek language. Tulsa.
Dope. All right, so some Rafisis want to know: does the Cahokia Mounds and its energy signature have any correlation to Illinois being the Fighting Illinois?
Well, I say this. I don't know about that part, but what I would say it is a energy vortex, and it do lay on what's called ley lines. So I can show you a map. Hold on. We can ping pong one more. I guess we'll do one more on the way out the door.
Okay. Yeah, you good.
So right here, we have ley lines. So we're looking at these spots that these mounds and these different energy centers that's here. So they have what's called Path to Soul. This is Alabama though, out of the Mississippian, and they all lined up under different star systems. So that's Moundville, and this the Orion, whatever they under. This Topcatz. Different energy centers. This me and Tulum right there in front of the one of the Prairie lighthouses. I'm trying to get to my Cahokia one on here. All right,
you hit that Cahokia, man?
Cahokia, that's it's an energy center here. It's a triangle. Now from Ohio, when they looked at the Red, he been to Serpent Mounds.
Yes.
The Serpent Mounds direct through the Ohio Mounds. It's a straight line going to the Cahokias. Yeah, so somebody, you know, you had to have a satellite or something to be able to, you know, to do this here. But you had three. You had the Emerald Mounds down in Natchez, Mississippi, which was mentioned earlier. Emerald Mounds is the second largest. Monk's Mound to be the first in Cahokia. You had Macon, Georgia, Okmulgee. Now you also had Poverty Point down in Louisiana, and a lot of people don't speak about Wisconsin. Wisconsin have the elephant effigies, which let us know there were elephants on this side as well too. But they mined copper there, so they mined copper there, and they mined copper down in Poverty Point. Right. And the coin distribution will go from Mississippi, central Mississippi to Cahokia, and it'll be tied to, like I said, Macon and down to Poverty Point. But Poverty Point gonna have a connection with Wisconsin, which is gonna go to the Minoans, who gonna be the first highly civilization in Europe, as we're gonna see them build their colonies from the Americas to Europe through this time. But that's another topic though. But that's Cahokia do sit on the energy ley line, and it is a vortex.
Dope. Man, this was so beautiful right here. This was a demonstration, y'all. This was definitely food for the soul. For everybody in the chat, if you received some information tonight, please light that shit up. You know what I'm talking about? Send me some emojis. I don't care what they are. Feathers, arrows, fires, hearts.
Yeah,
you know, let your indigenous spirit just speak. You know what I mean? Give these brothers some love. Is there a way that the family could tap in with you and purchase any one of your books, any type of literature, anything that can help further the research that we've been sharing tonight? I'm sure that you have documented some of your research that you could share with the family.
Yeah, actually, I got this book right here. This is my first book, American Bloodlines of the Gods and Civilization.
Dope.
So the history that we were speaking about earlier, for as Horus being the green men, and how all of these ancient civilizations are basically gonna get their science from America being the old world. You know, we'll talk about the bloodlines of the gods and all of this here. That's in this here. That's probably my bestseller. And I got what we call the Indian Bible. I'm not black, I'm Indian. The Miseducation of Black Americans. And hold on, I'm gonna go to this page right here, because every book I put my grandma in. And so that picture I was telling y'all that I seen.
Right. That you had tucked.
Yeah. That Amy told me we gotta go get on, and that's her right there on the location. So I dedicate all my work to her. But you can find this on BigChiefsUniversity.com, or you can find it on Amazon.
Okay. Any moderators?
Too for the babies as well. We got two books for the babies as well too.
Okay, so we got homeschoolers, they could use that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, we need that immediately.
Yeah, just show that book, man. I got it for my daughters. They love that book, man.
Yeah, Red, you know, you got PO box or whatever, man. I definitely want to send y'all some of the work, send y'all some books.
Okay, yeah, I need that for my homeschooling. I need that immediately. Any moderators, can you please put the link in the chat? I'm sure we have some moderators in the building. Please put the link in the chat. You dig?
And so if y'all in H-Town, y'all come tap in the Soul Food Vegan. I also got a cookbook called The Evolution of Soul Food. You just Google it, it'll bring it to you. But if we in H-Town, 2901 Emancipation Avenue, tap in on the gram.
Ladies, Chief got that camera on. Chief cammed up. Y'all know this is a special occasion. Y'all know he be hiding behind that Jaguar emoji. Yeah, he hide behind that Jaguar. They go to Chief right there, cammed up. I ain't hide behind it. Oh, that ain't no ugly Chief. Oh, that's the prettiest Chief.
I'm soul_food_vegan. You know what I'm saying? Staying super healthy, wealthy.
Lady, you know Big Chief cammed up.
Topcatz BCU.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
You better watch out now.
You know
Hold
what I'm
on,
saying?
we going to your
Big
IG page,
T,
man.
cam
F that,
up.
because you talking about it. I need them to see this thing right here.
We kicking major flavor,
Yeah,
man.
kicking major.
Look. Soul food vegan, y'all.
Don't hurt nobody.
He real modest and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna talk that shit right now. Soul food vegan. His brother Talik is doing the damn thing. I promise you. Like in the land of barbecue.
One of the best vegan restaurant twice. Nominated top vegan soul food restaurant in the country a couple times.
You feel me?
Yeah, man.
You smell me?
Man.
Y'all see that his avatar up there say Houston Chronicle. That's the #1 newspaper in Houston. Yeah, that's
right.
That's the big boy.
So
we be on the news.
Right. Anytime you in Texas, I know that catfish and them damn them prawns is calling you. What's that shit that they be eating? The crawfish. I know the crawfish is calling you, but we're gonna do the vegan crawfish. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm gonna lay my plane on this one. Just I come from a line of healers. You know what I'm saying? My Davis line. My grandfather was a snake healer. My grandmother was, they was root workers on both sides. You know what I'm saying? But they were healers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just tapping. A lot of this stuff is, stuff that's been passed down to me. I just do it, in a more healthier way.
I don't start nothing. I just finish everything.
And health remedies and stuff that I whip up and stuff that come from a lot of my ancestors. I don't start nothing. So, I just finish everything. We are stewards of the land too. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that these animals are compromised, knowing a lot of our water is compromised, I just show people how to heal themselves. And our people, our people had a lot of ingenious ways of utilizing the earth to heal ourselves. I also implore everybody to check out a book called Indian Givers, and it breaks down about how America had the biggest biodiversity in any place in America, correlating down to our hygiene, even to the soul food that we eat, you know what I'm saying? And, like he was saying, soul food is Indian food, American Indian food, you know what I'm saying? And my restaurant actually sits right next to Negro Hill, which my great-grandfather was a Takapai leader. Howard Smith used to come and free a lot of the Indian slaves that was on Negro Hill, which is on Emancipation Park, right next to my restaurant, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? So that's how much I'm walking with the ancestors, you know what I'm saying? Right across down the street, we got a big mural of Buffalo, one of the last Buffalo soldiers that's passed. I think Bobby Williams, if I can't say his name right. But we just tapping these. It's right in our face. You know what I'm saying? These mounds. You know what I'm saying? Like Buffalo Bayou. If you ever in Houston, you go tap into Buffalo Bayou or Allen Parkway. There's actually a whole bunch of phalanxes of mounds. That's and it's sitting on top of a man-made aquifer that the Takapai Ishak made, that made a population boom in Houston to begin with, because the Ishak were, they were water. My uncle still, what I'm saying, still know how to do the wells and stuff like that. To this day, which we thinking everybody know, but no, everybody don't know how to do no damn makeshift well. You know what I'm saying? Or make muscadine wine and muscadine beer and all this type of stuff that a lot of these indigenous people do. So we just implore you to check out your family story. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a monolith. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be so satisfying. Just like, good, healthy food. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, Red, man. I love you to life. Appreciate you, Topcatz. I love you out of life, man.
Love you to life, too. Could we answer this one last question?
Coco, I'm trying to figure out what was so funny. Why you kiki kaka? Why you kiki kaka? What was so funny, Coco?
Before we get out of here, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be bombarding y'all with these questions.
Talk to me. What's going on?
But this is a great way to bookmark this. Like I said, this is only part 1. We do have 2 and 3 coming through. We're gonna expand the panel and bring more voices in. T Hill said, late coming in, based off of the title, can somebody tell me if the black colonizers follow suit like the Caucasians as far as whippings, making them lose their language, grape, etc.?
Well, I say this, when it came down to the black colonizer, you know, a lot of times it's gonna be our family members. So the term colonizer is being used, but the story of the actual people in the story,
right,
is taking place is gonna be our families. Because the reason why I say this, those plantations is where we get our names from. That was our home. That's why you get a lot of stories about the slave. When he bought his freedom, he went back and bought his master's old house. No, he got left the house in his will. The daddy left him the house in his will. So a lot of times, we've been given the wrong story on slavery. So far as the beatings and the whippings, and you know, that they come from the movies and the propaganda of them, you know, putting this in our head. When we actually look into what slavery was, we'll see that it was the head of the household. It's no different than filing income tax, being the head of the household and having dependents. And so through law in the areas they were in, they would list their dependents, their family members on there. So, yeah, we just got the wrong perception on what a slave actually was. You know what I'm saying? Or how slavery actually went. So there's actually books like Red actually sold a source today. If you go through that book, they're gonna name names of people, and you know, so it's not just a word or slave or slave master. It don't have a face, but these are actually people. And if we look into our story further enough, we may find ourselves in these same situations. And I think it'll better understand when we can see ourselves in the story. You know what I mean? But yes, that's a part of knowing, you know, our story.
Interesting. Yes, I look forward to diving deeper into the truth and getting ourselves out of this falsehood. I want to say honest to everybody who played a part in tonight's monumental show. Salute, you know what I'm talking about. We will be doing a follow-up very soon. And yeah, I'm just glad that we did this. So once again, make sure y'all hit the like button, make sure y'all hit them comments, and make sure you share this video with anybody that you know who is out here looking for the truth and need it. You dig? And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close this out with the 44 tops, and we will see you Third Eye Thursday.
Let's walk.
They had a beautiful intention in the beginning, but everything became banging. Right. You know what I'm saying? And with that, people secretly festered hate towards each other. Right. Oh, that dude got the best of me over there, or that
debate environment. I mean, it creates war because people have to choose sides. You know what I'm saying? And nobody want to see their man lose. You know, and it's division waiting to happen. You had Caesars who closed down the gladiator games. Because you know shit gets political. And then when you dealing with different cars, you got different sets in this whole, you know, it can get political. You're gonna need minds at the top. That's why I feel like whoever would do it, they're gonna have to be so respected, and they're gonna have to be respected as a general off the battlefield who have accolades and stripes. You know what I'm saying? Even in the debate game, even just to keep the respect value there, the honor of the craft there, it's gonna take that. You know, if when me and the homie Gorilla Hebrew, we got it in. And see, we didn't argue, Sakari and BCU didn't fight. It wasn't no fight, it was nothing, man. We got it in, we locked up, got in the blend, gonna proceed. So when the
it's dominance hierarchy, you know what I mean? And it's slightly homoerotic too, you know what I'm saying? Men heavily focus on other men and standing up for men that are not even here.
Hey, let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes
men
up.
that they never met. They're willing to
get
fight
the likes up.
Like
support
that. You know,
the
this is a level of overzealousness. I was proposing. I'm gonna drop a link right here because everything that you said. Me and Doggy Diamonds did an interview 9 years ago on Forbes DVD, right? Where I personally had to, you know, echo my sentiments against all odds, standing up on what I felt like was the real shit. Like this shit is meaningless and it's a waste of time. And it has a level of agent provocateurism and some pro sprinkled in it. And I stood on that and I'm standing on that to this day. And I was like, we need to form Voltron. We need to bring the Hebrew Israelites into the fold as security. We need these brothers as not just a militia, but like a private military corporation. Like this is what they're here for. This is their energy. The reason why things are not moving is because the energy and the people's roles are not being utilized for what it is. It's a waste of talent, a waste of time. People are fucking throwing away billions of dollars, and I'm not saying it as a capitalist. What I'm saying it is as this: we all are from a certain generation. I identify as the hip hop generation, and I represent the hip hop culture. We have a different type of mind state. When we came into this game, we changed this whole consciousness and turned it upside down on its head because the old people, or the elders for that matter, they were different. They had a different frequency.
I want y'all to listen to this, man. Man, shout out to Peel, man. Appreciate him, bro. And he just pulled up.
I've taken that position now because you said something. You said you're from the hip hop era, right? And if anybody understands what the brother means by the hip hop era, he's saying he's not from the rap era. He's from hip hop. What's the difference between hip hop and rap? Well, hip hop is a culture. Okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it stands on principle. And rap is just the ability to be able to rhyme over a beat. And we know that rap has also been industrialized. Hip hop can't be industrialized because its prerequisite to determine or to define it as hip hop wouldn't allow it to be industrialized, because then it wouldn't be determined hip hop once you put an industry behind it. Hip hop has always been the voice and the message of the people. It's always been ways and codes to liberate and to uplift whatever demise, whatever, you know, just like, let's say Dr. Sebi came and brought us real true medicine.
Right. He was
right.
Hip hop.
That was hip hop. Why? Because we were sick and he went and found the herbs, the trees, and the plants in nature to heal us. And that was hip hop.
Right.
That was us.
When he talked, when he spoke, right? You heard hip hop. Dr. Sebi was rolling with Left Eye, Michael Jackson. He was on his shit. You feel me?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was hip hop.
And that's from the Americas, right down in Honduras,
Mexico.
You know what I'm saying? Right down in there. And that's showing us that we got the healing herbs of the nation, right? The things that they predicate their Bible on, right? So this is all us, right? And so I got this record that I'm about to drop September the 15th, right? It's called Burn the Village.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm saying? And I know you, because you were, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, the brothers of Pills do music as well. I know you know when I say Burn the Village, I know you know what I'm talking about.
I already know.
And because right now it's in a state of disarray, we are seeing things. We need to recalibrate, we need to refocus, restructure, rebalance. People don't understand that when we go on the spiritual journeys, sometimes we got to burn everything we ever knew. Sometimes we got to erase. Don't even carry that shit. But I built this for fuck it. Right. Put it down, burn it, bro. You dig what I'm saying? And let's start. So when you said these intros from these weak, you know, and what they telling you, the information is telling you to do destructive things, self-destructive things. Because destruction is not bad if you're destroying the thing that destroys you.
That's right.
But when you're doing self-destructive thing, hey Top, if you don't mind, can I just play the intro?
Yeah. Turn up. We want to hear that shit. Turn up.
I just want to cut that. This is a world exclusive. This is a this come out the 15th It's called Burn the Village, and no one has heard this. No one. This is it. But the pill just brought it out, and then I just start thinking. When
hey, y'all, get some flames in the chat, man. Get some flames in the chat. This is an exclusive right here, man.
Hey,
real American genius right here, man. Get some flames in the chat.
Yeah, hey, look, check this out. We doing flames and feathers, man. It's Burn the Village. The symbology that I'm using is flames and feathers, and the artwork is, of course, you know, all the indigenous symbols and people of our people, and you know, it's just representing that because we haven't truly done it a true service yet. So I'm gonna play a little piece of it, and if y'all tell me keep going, man, I'm gonna keep going, man. But I'm gonna play a little piece of it, man. I'm gonna let Pill and Top and the brothers, I'm gonna let y'all tell me and the queens out there, tell me what y'all think.
Sir.
All right, I'm gonna play.
Man, can you keep going, man? Goddamn, we were going in, man. Y'all had to skip over that. That's King Los out of Baltimore. King Los, my brother, Blackfoot Indian, King Los, you did, and Red Pill.
You run out of gas.
I can't play. Well, I saw a dope. Got me copyrighted last time. Yeah, I let that nigga world premiere that motherfucker. They copyright strike my ass right out there. But we heard the song though, goddamn. We heard. I'm gonna tape that out there eating the shit out the ground and shit growing the trees. That shit that they was trying to make it about. All right, y'all. I think we might been in here. Let me see. Long enough. Let me see, son. What we doing, Chief? Boom. Hey, hold on. Before we go, just to let y'all know, before we go, go to the site. You feel me? We got frames, BCU frames, only the Jaguar joints. Right now there are 2 for 100. 2 for 100. We got the outfits. I'm not black, I'm Indian, and the big Indian business sets. 2 for 100. They 2 for 100 until they all gone. You feel me? So y'all get your game right and get your game tight. It's gonna be up until they all gone. You feel me? So y'all go get it and come back with it. Go support the kid. You did. As long as we got each other, we don't need nobody else, man. Hold the motherfucking line. Y'all already know what's going down. Strength and honor. What we do in this life with echo in eternity. I always remember loyalty bring royalty, so you got to stay down for your crown. That's my motherfucking time. No, you got some dance moves? I bet you won't meet me on this dance floor. Let me see what you got. Let me spin you around in the circle. Let me see what you got. Come on with it, no. Hey. Say, let's go. Well, let's go. Don't meet me there, meet me there. You don't know the pain that I feel. You've taken my love for granted and you just won't see it your way. Yeah. It's about that time. Oh, you see me at the Duke joint? Why I ain't seen you all busy? You should have shared something. When you know love is all I need, I don't wanna stay. I really wanna stay. I don't want to go. I really need to know. Can we get it together? Can we get it? Yeah. And I don't wanna. I really wanna go. I really wanna stay. Don't want to stay. Get it together. Get it together. Let's get it together, baby. I can't let go. Confusion takes control. I'm thinking start brand new, 'cause I don't wanna lose you. Oh no. With the love we share, baby, it's all so rare. Get what? I'm willing to try. That all you need is with me. I don't wanna stay. I don't wanna go. How you feel? Let me know how you feel. I don't wanna stay. Don't want to go. You gotta let me know just how you feel, yeah. I don't wanna stay, no. Come on, Nunu, bring your ass to the damn floor. I don't want to go. Get it together. Come on, babe, let's get it together. I really wanna go. Can we get it together? Come on, boy. Get it together. Yeah. Hold up. I'm so confused. I just don't know what to do. And I don't understand. No. Hey. You know I don't wanna. I know. You know I don't wanna go. Talk to Big Chief. Baby, please. Listen to me. I don't wanna. Hey. Don't wanna go. That rock I know.